Ladies and gentlemen, I am Bruce, aka Haunted Husband, and welcome to Falling Stars. Now, this is your first time or your 100th time on my channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button right below me. By subscribing, you'll be notified when my videos go live daily. I cover a lot of indie demos, indie games, and great content from a lot of different indie developers. So if you're into indie stuff, you're in the right place. Hit the subscribe button right now. So Falling Stars, as you can see, is intended for mature audiences. If you're under the age of 18, please exit the game. Probably should close the video now if that's the case for you. The following game is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental. All characters depicted in the Falling Stars are over the age of 18. Falling Stars is intended for a mature audience. Although this is the safe for work version of Falling Stars, it still may be unsuitable for anyone under the age of 18, as it contains adult themes and language. Once again, if you're under 18, you might want to close the video now. All nudity and sexual content is removed from the version, but some mild, romantic, flirtatious scenes remain. You may also see some of the girls in their underwear, but don't be alarmed. They won't hurt you. Enjoy. So what is Falling for Stars? The best I can understand it, it's a visual novel. So let's just see where we go from there. It's a nice little city. This is the island of Totowana, an independent nation not too far from Japan. The national sport of the island is pro wrestling, and the Totowanans are the most devoted fans in the world. Why such passion for fake sport? Well, in Tawana, there's nothing fake about wrestling. In Tawana, pro wrestling is very real. What's my first name? I am, they call me Bruce. What do you mean, what was my second name? Like my last name? Yes, that's exactly what they meant. Okay. I used to be the best wrestler in this town. And if you're the best wrestler here, you're the best wrestler anywhere. But all that was taken from me. My leg was so badly broken, I could never wrestle again. And even if I could, my name has been so blackened by false drug accusations that no company in the world would hire me. One man's jealousy and insecurity brought me down. If it's the last thing I do, I will make him pay. I just wish I knew how. Strong style, yes. I'll tell you how it all happened, but don't worry, I'll keep it short. It's not something I like to remember, and no one wants to hear some guy whining about how he used to be the big deal, right? I work for TSS, the most respected wrestling company in the world. Not nearly as popular as the scripted American trash. Bruh, come on. Like the VPE company, but our fans always knew that we were the real deal. What's your axe to grind against Northern Wrestling? This feels like very much like you have an axe to grind against things, but you know. I started out in the business alongside my best friend Taka. He grew up in the States and his family had moved back to here next door to mine. The day they moved in, I was practicing wrestling moves in my back garden. Taka happened to hop the fence, introduced himself, and joined in. That's Taka, alright. We became instant friends. When I found out who his mother was, I nearly lost my mind. She was a famous wrestler. Well, famous doesn't come close. Taka's mother is Sunset Minami. This is as good a pronunciation as I'm going to get, probably. One of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Not just one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. I'm talking anyone. Remember that VPE guy, Buzzsaw Waynes Williams? The one who's some big shot actor now? People used to go crazy for his finisher, that 360 slingshot powerbomb. Well, he stole that from Sunset. And everyone saw him do it with a single ounce of the style. Grace she did, he even called it the Buzz Bomb, like it was his. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Sunset became like a second mother to me. She got me and Taka training with some of the best guys in the business. The day she told us we were ready to start training was the best day of my life. It was like all my dreams had come true. She looks awfully young to have a kid that age. She helped guide our careers, and pretty soon we went from being the annoying kids getting in everyone's way backstage to the hottest tag team in the sport. Is this the nudity they warned me about? Put a shirt on. You're like a young kid, but you got some old man nipples there, brother. We were winning matches and titles all over the world, but it was becoming obvious that we were both too talented to stay out of the singles division. We were already talking about going out on our own when we got called from VPE. They were offering us a crazy amount of money to sign with them. I wanted nothing to do with them because of what they had done to Sunset. She had worked there before, which is how Taka wound up growing up in the States. She went there as the most famous, respected women's wrestler in the world, hoping to put the women's wrestling and the SMAP, and they destroyed her career. I know you have a story you need to tell, but still, like, that axe feels like it's almost well sharpened from all the grinding. Why? For the crime of not being an American. Bruh. For not looking like a Playboy model. Bruh. For being more popular than most of their stars. Double bruh. Now, I'm not saying all the American companies are like this. Very few of them are, but VPE was well known for making Asian wrestlers look weak and foolish. As the biggest company in the world, there is never a shortage of talent ready to go there, thinking that they could be the one that changed all that. As long as the VPO owner is alive, it'll never happen, but money and the promise of fame is always clouding people's judgment. Anyway, soon after joining VPE, Sunset was losing scripted matches to swimsuit models. Oh boy. I'm curious what part of this game in the full version requires nudity. Just out of curiosity, I'm trying to figure out how that fits in this whole like story arc. But you know, maybe we'll see like a glimpse, not a glimpse, maybe like a precursor or like a hint at why there would be nudity in this game about wrestling. The character they had her play was basically just an overexcited girl who certainly misunderstood basic English, which Sunset spoke as well as anyone else there. But that she could be any other woman there, and most of the men, with one hand behind her back in a real fight, didn't matter to them. All they saw was someone who could make their talentless cheerleaders look good. So any VPN refused to speak to them. Taco, however, saw his chance to go there, become a huge star, somehow redeem his mother's career. That chin hair is getting to me. That chin hair is making me feel a certain way. Couldn't make him see sense, so they took the offer and we went separate ways. Sunset went with him, hoping to lessen some of the damage she knew that would be to his career. So I was only known for the TSS, but I still was ready to go for it, so I thought. I was unstoppable, winning match after match, but without Sunset and Taco to ground me, I lost my way. I became arrogant and unpopular backstage. Understandable. Fans still loved me and I kept winning, so I didn't care, but I failed to notice that I was making enemies among the other wrestlers. Women was becoming jealous of my success, popularity, and furiously with the lack of respect I was showing to the veteran wrestlers. He was the one man in Togawana that no one else dared to cross. This guy, huh? This guy right here. Ironhead Kasawa. The most popular and feared wrestler in the country, the president and champion of TSS. He wanted to make an example of me, and he did. When I decided I was ready to challenge Ironhead for the title, he accepted immediately. I knew I could beat him. He was tough, brutal, and cunning, but he was also getting old. I was the big new star. It was my time now, not his. He couldn't stop me. That's what I thought. I was about to learn a cruel lesson about how far some people go to stay on top. The atmosphere in the Togawana National Arena that day was electric. The two most popular stars here are going head-to-head for the title. What happened in our match, the crowd were ready to explode. The second the bell rang into that title match, I was on fire. I made Iron look like an old man, a relic. I taunted him. I humiliated him. I showed everyone I was the new king. I was a fool. When I went back to Ironhead, I was showing off to the crowd, thinking he was finished. A quick of his flash, he was back on his feet. Before I even knew what it was, he had stomped down on my knee with all the strength. It broke like glass. Haven't even fallen before he did the same thing to my other lower leg. Ooh. Crafty. It's an unwritten rule of wrestling in a way that while we fight for real and don't hold back, we never intentionally try to injure an opponent. They got me out here looking like a twisted noodle. Like some unbit pretzel. I was on that screaming in agony. The crowd were stunned. I had picked up the microphone. Yodawana, you are shocked at what I have done. I understand. I take no pleasure in it. But I can no longer stand by while this thief stole glory he had not earned. Castle has not been taking performance enhancing. Oh, he's been taking performance enhancing. He is no hero. He's not a wrestler. He's no man. I will not allow him to disgrace our sport any longer. Not let him disgrace the one any longer. Not let him disgrace you any longer. They started to cheer for him. Not everyone, not yet. Some were still unconvinced. Red had another trick up his sleeve. I will ask 5 random members of this good people to go backstage with our security guards to check Castle's locker to see the truth for yourselves. Feels like a plant, man. I will not have to say what it was felt done unfairly. It was a clever move on his part. Anyone in the right mind could have seen that everything about this was suspicious, but the crowd was never so worked up they had lost all sense. It's just like a stock photo. Stock photo. Of course, when they opened it, my locker was full of drugs. Stanzanol, Drostanol, Trebinol, HGH, cocaine, speed, none of it was mine. Except for the cocaine. That's mine. I've been planted by Ironhead and his cronies, but in the minds of many of the fans, Ironhead had made a terrible accusation against me and then proved it. As I was carried out of the ring, they were chanting his name. Me, they spat on me, their fallen hero, so I was carried out of the sport I loved. My leg had to be rebuilt with steel plates, pins and rods, 5 separate surgeries, and almost 18 months of recovery time. I had to learn to walk again. It was humiliating. Due to Ironhead's accusations, I was drug tested, of course, and of course it came back negative. This gave me a brief moment of hope that people would see his lies for what they were, that the name would be cleared. That is where my attitude towards the other wrestlers came back to haunt me. Whilst nobody openly accused me of anything, not one person defended me. Understandable. To fans, this seemed like further proof of Ironhead's lies. Walled in self-pity for months, refusing to see or speak to anyone, thinking only about I could take my revenge on Ironhead. Couldn't think of a single idea how that could work. One day there was a knock on my door. I ignored all the phone calls and all the visitors for months, but for some reason I decided to answer this one. That's where it all started. I'm assuming it's going to be Taka. Can you hear me knocking? Oh, shit. Bruce, you finally answered. Finally, I missed you so much. I was so worried. Why wouldn't you answer my phone or the door? My emails. I even wrote you letters. Oh, I'm sorry I didn't even ask how you are. How's your leg? Are you okay? Do you need anything? I can cook you something or give you a massage. Come in the store if you want anything. but I guess you wouldn't speak to her. Shit, I should have called her. I owe her too much to have been ignoring her calls. Mara also said she didn't believe the accusations against you. Pay less attention to her these days. Interesting, I would have looked to Mira to support me. Well, haven't spoken to her in a long time. But does Saki mean that people paying less attention to her? She's one of the most popular wrestlers in the country. And we're going to look at this one real quick, and that's probably going to do it for the video. Didn't want to investigate Ironhead. Well, some people thought the whole thing was suspicious, especially after you passed a drug test, but nobody really wants to try standing up to Ironhead. And I hate to say it, but the way you've been acting, well, some people thought it explained a lot. Like you were cocky and obnoxious. Damn, for Saki, those are strong words. Even she thought I was a prick, which would have been even worse than I thought. The other thing is that had some actual fans go look inside your locker, he wasn't even there. For a lot of people, that was proof that he had nothing to do with it. So I guess Ironhead's basically in the clear. So that's going to do it for Falling Stars. Like, it's a visual novel. It's based on wrestling. You know, so just I'm going to put a link to it in the description below. It seems interesting. This is probably just the basic top layer of the crust of how far down this rabbit hole we go. We're going to hit the save button real quick. Just in case we will come back to it. And in case you want to go to it, like I said, link to the description below. If you enjoyed this, I have plenty of other indie games, indie content coming out tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe to be alerted of that. And until then, I'll hunt you later. Like a power bomb to the steel floor.